The loneliness you've chosen isn't strength. It's the biggest trap your mind can create, and it's silently destroying your potential to be happy. We tell ourselves a lie, that we're stronger alone, that we don't need anyone. But the naked truth, which Carl Jung explored like no one else, is that this is one of the ego's greatest illusions. That anxiety that won't go away, that emptiness nothing can fill, the feeling of being a foreigner, even among people. It's not a coincidence. They are symptoms. They are your soul's cries for connection. And today, you will finally understand the psychology behind people who have no friends. This isn't about judgment, it's about liberation. You will discover the secret mechanisms that keep you trapped in this isolation, from the persona you show the world to the shadow you're afraid of encountering in others. And most importantly, you will leave here with the map to reverse it. Because life doesn't negotiate. We either connect or we wither. And you deserve more than just surviving in your own lonely fortress. Have you ever found yourself proud of not needing anyone, of thinking you're strong enough to carry the world alone on your shoulders? Be careful. That feeling, as powerful as it may seem, could be the biggest trap your mind is setting for you. Jung saw this with frightening clarity. This radical self-sufficiency isn't strength, it's an escape. It's like building a castle on a deserted island and calling it a kingdom. It might look imposing, but it's a palace of solitude. Think of the person who brags about working alone, making all decisions alone, not asking for help even in the toughest times. On the outside, they seem like a rock, unshakable, but inside, it's a desert. This altar you've built for your own ego is cold and silent. The need for others, that request for help, the vulnerability of sharing a problem, all of that is a mirror that shows our true humanity. Running from that mirror is like running from yourself. And what can you do in practice to start dismantling this altar? It's simple, but it's not easy. Next time a problem hits, instead of swallowing hard and moving on, try something different. Call a colleague and say, "Hey, I have a doubt, can you help me?" Ask for an opinion on a trivial decision. This small act, which seems insignificant, is the first step to breaking the ego's armor. It's an exercise in humility that feeds the soul, because the truth is that no one fulfills themselves alone. Individuation, this process of becoming who you truly are, is not a solitary journey. It happens in contact, in friction, in the encounter with the other. The other is that mirror that reflects an image you could never see by yourself. If you run from all mirrors, you end up believing a distorted version of yourself, a persona of fortitude that deep down is pure shadow. And what if I told you that this fortress you built is in fact your own prison, that the fear of depending on someone hides a much greater fear, that of truly knowing yourself? Well, and it is precisely about this prison and the key that can open it that we will talk about next. The loneliness chosen out of pride is a dead end, and exploring its basements is the first step to finding the way out. Imagine life as a great journey, full of doors you must cross to move forward. Friendship, genuine connection, is one of those main doors. It's a rite of passage that life demands from all of us. Now, what happens when someone refuses to walk through that door? The person stands still in the hallway, watching others move forward, while they themselves gradually impoverish their own soul. It's a choice that, at first glance, seems to spare pain, but charges a very high price: the torture of emptiness. Think of the rites of passage in ancient tribes. The young had to go through difficult, sometimes frightening trials to be accepted as adults. Today, we no longer have these formal rituals, but they have been replaced by other initiations: accepting an invitation to dinner when you're tired, opening up to a coworker about a difficulty, giving someone a real hug. They are small rites that weave the tapestry of human connection. Running from them is like refusing to grow up. And how can you face these rites in your daily life? It's simpler than it seems. Next time you get an invitation that your antisocial mind wants to automatically refuse, make a deal with yourself. Go, stay just 1 hour. Allow yourself to be there, even if silently. Another practical example, instead of just sending a text message, call the person and greet them with your voice. These small acts are modern initiations. They are your rites of passage from isolation to connection. Because every time you refuse to live this rite, it's as if you were building a brick wall around your heart. At first, the wall protects you, gives you a sense of security, but with time, it also prevents you from seeing the sun, feeling the wind, hearing the world outside. You spare yourself from conflicts and disappointments, it's true, but you inherit a deep and resonant loneliness. The shadow of what you didn't live grows inside you. And what if I told you that this emptiness you feel isn't a lack of anything, but the echo of a space that was meant to be filled? A space that only the true encounter can occupy? Well, and this feeling of emptiness is closely linked to a powerful figure that lives in your unconscious, often shaped in your own childhood. A figure that, without you noticing, still commands your steps. There is a voice that whispers inside you, not always audible, but always present. It says, you trusted, you got hurt. You showed weakness, you lost. You think it's just your skepticism, your life experience, but what if I told you that voice may not be entirely yours? Jung shows us it could be the echo of a paternal figure who, for love or for pain, couldn't bless you with basic trust in the world. This inner father, who should be your guide, became your jailer. Have you noticed how you react when someone tries to get too close? That instant distrust, that chill in your stomach, the urge to retreat and raise the drawbridge of your castle. Stop and reflect. Whose voice is that? Often it's the shadow of your father or the paternal figure who projected their own disappointments and fears onto you. He, who should have taught you to trust the world, taught you to fear it. And now, as an adult, you have become the guardian of that prison, locked inside by your own hand. But how do you escape this prison if you don't even admit you're in it? The first step is recognition. Next time distrust arises, pause and ask yourself out loud, is this distrust mine or is it a legacy? A powerful exercise is to take a paper and write down the beliefs you have about trust and relationships. It's dangerous to open up. People will hurt you. Now reflect. What is the origin of this? Did you live it or just inherit it? This act of questioning is already starting to break the chains. Because the truth is, you are living life with a manual written by someone who was also wounded. It's like using an old, outdated map to navigate a city that has completely changed. The world is no longer the one your father or paternal figure experienced. People are not the same. You are no longer that child. Maintaining this persona of the distrustful is a weight you no longer need to carry. It is a shadow that prevents genuine connection. And what happens when you start questioning this inherited manual? When you stop listening to that whisper and start listening to your own voice, a new layer of your unconscious begins to reveal itself. And that's when you discover that it's not just a voice you carry, but an entire mask you wear for the world. A mask that, no matter how beautiful, can also be your cage. Have you ever dressed for an important event, fixed every detail of your outfit, and arrived there feeling like no one was seeing you, but the fantasy you created? In Jung's psychology, the persona is this social mask, necessary, yes, for us to navigate the world. But what happens when this mask glues to your face? When you forget what your own skin feels like, you dress in an impenetrable persona, the strong one, the one who doesn't need anyone, and the price is a single one: loneliness. No one can touch you because no one knows where you are. Think of an actor on stage, playing a character so convincing the audience loves him, cheers for him. Backstage, however, he is alone. That's the perfect metaphor for someone who embraces the persona of self-sufficiency. At work, you are the unshakable professional. In the family, the safe harbor. With the few acquaintances, the rock. People place trust in this image. But what about you? Who places trust in you, in the real you? The persona becomes an armor so heavy you stop feeling what's underneath it. And how do you start loosening the knots of this armor? The first step is to create intentional backstage moments. It could be with a journal where you write, unfiltered, what you truly felt during the day, away from the strong character. Another powerful practice is to choose one safe person and run a small test of vulnerability. Instead of saying, "I'm fine," when you're not, try saying, "Today was a challenging day." It's a calculated risk, a first hole in the armor to let a little air in, because the emptiness you feel in the silence isn't a lack of anything. It's the echo of your essence, suffocated, asking for passage. It's the question that won't quiet down. If no one can reach the persona you projected, who are you really? This emptiness is a warning sign from your soul, an urgent invitation to self-knowledge. It is the beginning of the journey to regain contact with your shadow, with the parts of you that you locked away to wear the mask. And when you start to feel this emptiness, to notice its weight, something inevitable happens. You realize you're not just hiding parts of yourself from the world. You are, in fact, afraid of finding in others exactly what you strive hardest to hide in yourself. And it is this fear, this projection of your own shadow, that becomes the next great barrier to be crossed. Have you noticed how certain people, without doing much, trigger in you an instant reaction of irritation or aversion? You attribute it to their way, their personality. But what if the truth is deeper? Jung had a name for this: projection. It's not from others that you run in reality. It's from your own shadow projected onto them. That person you judge as needy or dramatic may just be reflecting the neediness or drama you refuse to see inside yourself. Intimacy becomes a threat because it promises a revelation you're not prepared to face. Imagine your psyche is like a movie theater. Your shadow, all those traits you reject in yourself, are the scripts you refuse to produce. Then you go out into the world, and every time you see someone living a little of that, it's as if the person invaded your projection room and started showing your forbidden film. The anger, the discomfort, the desire to pull away. It's not about the other. It's your own panic that the secret film will be discovered. Loneliness, then, becomes the security strategy to keep the cinema closed. How do you stop projecting and start owning what is yours? The exercise is challenging yet liberating. Next time you feel a strong, immediate aversion to someone, pause. Instead of mentally criticizing the person, flip the script and ask yourself, where in me is there a little of this characteristic that bothers me so much? Perhaps you despise the weakness in others because you were forced to be strong your whole life. Maybe the fakeness of the other mirrors moments when you weren't entirely authentic. This is a crucial step in your self-knowledge, because until you integrate your shadow, you will be its hostage. You will remain exiled from the garden of genuine connections, not because of others, but out of fear of yourself. The person who most demands you face the truth is you. The loneliness chosen for this reason is a cowardly refuge, and the courage you need isn't to face the world, but to face what's in your own unconscious. It is a journey of individuation, and when you start to accept that the neediness, the anger, or the insecurity also live in you, something magical happens. The other ceases to be a threat and becomes a mirror, a teacher. But are you willing to take the next step? Because this isn't the only inner force influencing your relationships. There is another, a powerful archetypal energy that dictates how you relate to the opposite sex, and how it manifests is fundamental to understanding your isolation. Your ego built an island of self-sufficiency to feel like a king. There, you make the rules, control everything, and don't have to surrender to the unpredictability of others. Sound familiar? It's a powerful temptation, this being the absolute monarch of your small world. But Jung warns us, a kingdom of one is, in truth, a temple of lonely madness. The loneliness that was meant to be a refuge becomes the very cell, and the throne, a cold stone in the middle of the ocean. You traded the richness of the continent for the illusion of total control. Think of that colleague who never has lunch with the team, who turns down all happy hours. He thinks he's being productive, focusing on the essential. But what he doesn't see is that he's giving up the social fuel that nourishes the soul. The continent of the collective psyche is vast, full of new landscapes, different ideas, and unexpected connections. Staying on your island is like being content to see the same square of sky day after day, thinking that's the whole world. It's poverty disguised as strength. How do you take the first step off the island? It takes a dose of courage to navigate unknown waters. Start small. Accept that invitation you would normally refuse. Join a group for a hobby you enjoy. A book club, a cooking class, a hiking group. In these places, the focus is on a shared activity, which takes the pressure off forced connection. You'll interact naturally through common interest. It's a safe way to start feeling like you're part of something bigger again. Because the truth is that individuation, the process of becoming a complete person, doesn't happen in isolation. It requires contact with the diversity of the human continent. Every person you meet carries a fragment of what you can be. Denying this encounter is to impoverish your possibilities for self-knowledge. Your ego at this moment is like a grain of sand trying to understand the beach alone. It needs to reintegrate, and as you venture beyond the limits of your island, you begin to perceive that there are forces within you that profoundly shape how you connect, or don't, with others. One of these forces is a powerful archetypal energy, which defines the dance of attraction and understanding between the sexes. Understanding it isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for anyone who wants to heal their loneliness for good. You firmly believe you will find yourself in the silence of an empty room, meditating for hours or devouring self-help books. It's a noble idea, but it's a dangerous illusion. Jung was categorical. The deepest self-knowledge is not born from isolation, but from friction. The other is the crudest, most honest, and often most painful mirror that exists. Without this mirror, you are not on a retreat of enlightenment. You are just talking to distorted echoes of your own mind. Imagine a goldsmith trying to polish a precious jewel using only his bare hands. It's impossible. He needs other tools, abrasive surfaces for the stone to shine. You are the jewel. And every interaction, every resolved conflict, every moment of tenderness, and even every disagreement are those tools that polish you. Staying alone is like stroking the raw stone and thinking it's already polished. You are missing your own shine out of fear of friction. So how about turning your relationships into conscious tools for self-knowledge? Next time an argument arises, instead of just defending your point of view, try this exercise. Genuinely listen to the criticism, not to counterattack, but to ask yourself, what does this speech reveal about me? What pattern of mine is being pointed out here? Another practice is to ask for honest feedback from trusted people on a specific aspect, like your communication. You will be surprised at what you discover, because the shadow you try to hide from yourself is precisely what others see with the most clarity. They see your mannerisms, your defense mechanisms, your persona slipping. Denying this external source of insight is like trying to diagnose an illness by looking only at your own navel. The true journey of individuation demands that you lose yourself in the map of others to rediscover yourself in a more complete and truthful way. And when you start using others as mirrors, something fascinating happens. You realize you're not just knowing yourself better, but also healing wounds you didn't even know existed. However, if you insist on ignoring these mirrors, your own psyche will start screaming for attention in another way. And this scream often disguises itself as symptoms that conventional medicine treats, but does not cure. That anxiety that tightens your chest at the end of the day, the melancholy that visits without warning, the insomnia that keeps you awake in the dead of night. Have you ever stopped to listen to what these symptoms are really trying to tell you? They are not random failures of your body. In Jung's view, they are whispers of your soul thirsty for connection. Your psyche will not get sick just from overwork, but it can wither slowly from the lack of a tribe. Your mind is screaming what your pride refuses to admit. Think of your body as a sophisticated alarm system. Chronic loneliness is like a low-intensity fire happening in the next room. You don't see the flames, but the smoke alarm won't stop beeping. Anxiety is that alarm. Depression, perhaps, is the sign that the battery is dying, that you're giving up on silencing it. You treat the noise with sleeping pills or distractions, but the real solution is to put out the fire, rebuild the bonds that feed your soul. So, what to do when the alarm sounds? Instead of rushing to numb the feeling, try a different approach. Next time anxiety or emptiness hits, don't grab your phone to distract yourself. Sit with the feeling for 5 minutes and ask the courageous question, what do I need to hear that only a genuine connection could offer me? Maybe it's understanding, maybe it's a silent hug, maybe it's the feeling of belonging. Identify the need and take a minimal action, like sending a message to a distant friend, because these symptoms are not your enemies, they are messengers. They are the shadow of your unmet need, knocking at your door. Ignoring them is like turning off your car's control panel because a red light came on. It may silence the warning, but it won't fix the engine. The most courageous self-knowledge is the one that listens to the symptoms and asks, what is my soul trying to force me to heal? And when you start treating loneliness as the root cause and not the symptoms as the final problem, everything changes. But what if I told you there is an even deeper dimension in this search for wholeness, one that involves the masculine and feminine part that lives within you, and how the refusal to integrate them keeps you stuck in superficial relationships or in the absence of them. Inside you lives a complementary energy. In men, Jung called it the anima, the inner feminine principle. In women, the animus, the masculine one. And this force is not a detail, it's half of your psychic equation. Denying this inner encounter is like trying to clap with one hand. The sound doesn't come out. You condemn yourself to live by half, eternally seeking in the external mirror what can only be found and integrated in your inner world. It's a search doomed to failure and loneliness. How does this manifest in practice? The extremely rational, rigid man who suffocates his intuition and sensitivity, he is denying his anima. The woman who completely disconnects from her assertiveness and capacity for action, she is repressing her animus. The result? Relationships that are either dependent symbioses or impregnable fortresses. You attract or project onto the other exactly the quality that is missing inside yourself, creating a dynamic of attraction and repulsion that never resolves itself. Real connection becomes impossible. How to start this integration? The man can start exploring his anima through art, music, poetry, or simply allowing himself to feel and express emotions without judgment. The woman can work on her animus by putting her ideas out into the world with more strength, making difficult decisions, or engaging in debates. They are practical exercises to give voice to these silenced parts. It is a work of self-knowledge that requires courage as it touches upon deeply ingrained identities. Because until you make peace with this other inner half, you will be a misaligned magnet, attracting only confusion and frustration. Your social persona will be a facade hiding an internal conflict, and the shadow of your denied masculine or feminine will project onto all your relationships, turning them into invisible battlefields. True individuation demands this sacred marriage within you, and when you begin to integrate these forces, something fundamental transforms. You stop seeking your missing part in the other and start relating from a place of wholeness. But this raises the last and most crucial question. What if this entire inner journey isn't just about feeling better, but about a literal choice between evolving or withering, between becoming who you came to be or living as a ghost of yourself? Life does not negotiate with us. It establishes a biological and psychic commandment that is impossible to ignore for long. Connect or wither. It is not a suggestion, it is a law of human nature. You can try to circumvent it, you can hide in loneliness, you can raise walls around your heart. But sooner or later the price will be paid, in the form of an emptiness that nothing fills, of a bitterness that contaminates everything, or of a soul that withers from lack of exterior light. The choice is raw. Integrate or perish in the illusion of the self-sufficient. Jung called this process individuation, the journey to become who you truly are. And the greatest paradox of this journey is that it is not solitary. Your uniqueness, your purest essence, only flourishes when it is woven into the tapestry of the human. It is like a musical note. Alone, it's just a sound. Within a symphony, it gains meaning and beauty. Trying to be yourself away from others is like wanting the note to exist without the music. It's impossible. Connection is not an extra. It is the very field where individuation happens. So what is the first practical step for this great work? It is the simplest and the most difficult. Surrender. Surrender to your own humanity, to your need for the other. This means lowering your guard, brick by brick. It could be going to therapy and facing your connection wounds head-on. It could be joining a men's or women's group to share authentic struggles. It could be simply stopping canceling plans and starting to show up even when scared. Every act of opening is a vote in favor of your own life. Because this is not a journey about having more friends on Instagram. It's about not dying of psychic starvation at a banquet of possibilities. Your persona of the strong one, your projected shadow, your islanded ego, all of that was an attempt to survive. But now you are being called to something greater, to truly live. And to live in the language of the soul is synonymous with relating. The self-knowledge that doesn't lead to encounter is just sophisticated selfishness. And now that you know that loneliness is a cell and connection is the key, what are you going to do? Information alone doesn't transform anyone. Transformation begins the exact moment you decide enough is enough. When you get tired of being the guardian of your own prison, the next move is yours and yours alone. The invitation to the great work has been issued. The call echoes. It remains to be seen if you will have the courage to answer it. We have reached the most important point of this entire journey, the moment of decision. You now carry a detailed map of your own psyche. You know that the loneliness that seemed like a fortress is, in fact, your greatest prison. You know the mechanisms of the persona, the secrets of the shadow, the soul's call for connection. You have the information. But now what? What are you going to do with all this self-knowledge? The real transformation doesn't happen here in your comfort zone. It begins the exact moment you decide to take the first step off the island of your ego. It can be a small step, almost insignificant. Sending a message to that person you haven't talked to in ages, accepting an invitation you would normally refuse, going to therapy and facing head-on the wounds that shaped your connections. Every act of courage, no matter how small, is a vote in favor of your own life. And I have a crucial question for you to ask yourself right now. What is the shadow you are most afraid of encountering in others? And if, instead of running, you turn to face it, what relationship in your life could be transformed if you dared to be a little more vulnerable? The answer is there inside you, waiting. Individuation is not a destination, it's a walk, and every step matters. If this content touched open wounds, but also ignited a light of hope in you, then you cannot stop here. The journey of self-knowledge is long and deep, and we are only just scratching the surface. Subscribe to the Carl Jung channel and activate all notifications. We have much more ahead. We will dive into dreams, archetypes, and the practical tools for you to accomplish your great work. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Your soul will thank you.